So I'm placing my blanket just folded once in the middle to the back part of my mat. Then we'll curl the toes under and begin to sit the hips towards the heels. If this just really does not serve, you can start here in something like a standing kneel pose. We're going to take just a couple of breaths here to feel a nice little warm up, a stretch into the toes and the feet. If it's one breath and your toes are done, certainly you can come up to that standing kneel when you're ready. I thought we'd take at least 2 more breaths here. Arms are just relaxed. And then exhale and drop your chin to your chest. Bring the palms together at the heart center. And then as you inhale, rise to that standing kneel and reach the hands to the sky. So exhale, we'll circle the arms out to the sides and down. Shift the hips towards the heels, palms together at the heart. Inhale, reaching up. Exhaling, circling down, sitting back. Last one. Inhale, lifting up. So stay high, keep the hips over the heels. Exhale, reach the arms out to the sides, and then reach them to the floor. We're coming forward into hands and knees. So you can uncurl the toes here. You might even want to give them a little bit of a tap if they're feeling a little sore. And make sure your wrists are under your shoulders, knees under hips. And I don't talk about this, or maybe I haven't talked about this a lot in our last few practices together. And it just kind of depends on the flexibility of your arms and elbows. So I'm a little bit of a good demo for this. If you can kind of see, these are the eyes of my elbows, right? The inside of my elbow bend. So if I really lock my elbows out, right, I'm turning my inner elbows to face you. So if you're like me, pretty flexible in your elbow joints, sometimes it's just the elbow joints, you might want to concentrate more on keeping the eyes of your elbows facing one another, right? So we want to resist the urge to totally lock out here. That was just one little cue I wanted to remind everyone today, including myself. And so we gently grip down through the pads of the fingers. Take an inhale and lengthen your chest forward. Do draw the belly in. So get a nice stretch here into the front body. And then exhale, we'll curl and round. So we're moving to our cat pose. Inhale, lengthen chest into cow. And exhale, curl and round into cat. Inhale, lengthen to cow. Curl the toes under. Exhale, lift the knees and hips. Find your downward facing dog. We're giving this one breath here. So inhaling and exhaling, lower to the knees. This time, inhale and rock shoulders forward over the wrists. So we're coming into a knee down plank. Belly lifts up and in as we exhale. Take another inhale. And exhale, hug elbows against your sides, lowering all the way down. So because, I have that blanket under my knees, I need to keep my cobra low. So elbows are hugging, tops of the feet press, inhale, just a low cobra here. And exhale, release. One more, inhale, really broaden across the collarbones, whether your cobra is low or high, and then exhale, we're pressing up. Pull the belly in. Reach the hips to the heels and pause here for a moment of child's pose. So this might be your first child's pose of the day. Just breathing into the back body. Remembering to come back to this pose at any point if you need a reset or a rest, or really any position that feels restful to your body. Let's inhale and round up. So pull the navel in. We're rounding up through cat. And then lengthening the chest forward into cow. Long inhale, curl the toes, and then we'll exhale up and back. Find your downward facing dog. Maybe alternate calf stretches here, bending one knee and then the other. Good. Reach both heels to the earth. Lower to the knees once again. Inhale here. And then exhale, pull your right knee in towards the chest. We're going to open it to the side. So we're walking the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Both hands are on the inside of this front foot. So you can walk it as far forward as feels good to you. We are going to shift forward here into the hips. So we want to feel a nice opening into the left thigh and hip flexors. Exhaling as you're ready. Take a nice long inhale here. And just continuing. So you might be on fingertips, you might be on palms. If you're pretty flexible here, you'd like to come deeper, you could always come onto your forearms or elbows. If you're somewhere in between and you do have a block or a prop, you could always place that under the arms. I'm feeling just fine here, actually, with arms straight. Let's take one more inhale. Then exhale, shift your hips back, and then reframe your front foot with your hands. So I'm walking my right foot so it's in line with my hip again. Now my hands are on either side of this front leg. Yeah, we're taking just an easy half split. So inhale and really lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, the belly draws in. It might allow you to deepen this fold or this pose. And taking a couple breaths to notice where the back of that leg is at today. And then inhale, rock forwards. You can plant your hands and step your right knee back. Exhaling here, just neutral for a moment. Inhale, lengthen your chest. Exhale, curl and round into cat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl and round, and then begin to pick up your left foot, your left knee, step it to the outside of your left hand. And again, we're just shifting forward here into the hips. So we're breathing into the right thigh and hip flexors. We do want to make sure that our hands, both of them, are on the inside of this front foot. Just taking a few breathers here. You might have space to move deeper. Good. And we just want to make sure the knee does not pass the toes. All right. Good. One thing I'm going to check here. Okay. All right. So take one more inhale. As you exhale, let's lift our hips or shift our hips up and back. So we're reframing this front foot, walking left foot in line with the hip. And stay on fingertips here or keep the palms flat if that works for you. Inhale, really lengthen the chest. Exhale, as the belly draws in, there might be space for a deeper fold. You can just kind of see how that goes. Check in with the neck. Notice if it's really gripping or straining. Just remind it to soften. Also notice if your jaw is clenching, your face is sort of tensing. Reminding all these parts to relax as well. And let's find an inhale to rock forward, just to plant the palms and step left knee back. You might walk your hands forward slightly. We're rocking forward into our knee down plank again. So inhale here. Exhale, belly lifts up and in. We'll begin to lower down slow, hugging elbows against our sides. Tops of the feet press into the floor. Inhale, broaden across the chest. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, we're coming up this time. Press to the knees. Your call. If you'd like to take a few breaths in child's pose or downward facing dog, it's your choice. Maybe alternating calf stretches again, just noticing if the legs, the calves are tight. And whether you're in child's or down dog, maybe just bring a little movement into the head. So just a gentle nod, yes, with the head, a gentle shake, no. Reminding the neck to soften as well here. Now, either from hands and knees or from downward facing dog, we're going to bring the right foot forward again. So from down dog, or even hands and knees, lift your right leg up and back. Use an exhale to pull the knee in as we rock forward. We'll plant the right foot and lower the left knee. This time we're framing the foot here just for a moment, so hands stay on either side of this front foot. And then just walk your left hand off your mat over to the left a little bit. You can plant the palm or stay on the fingertips. Use an inhale, just move slow. We're reaching the fingertips to the sky. Breathing here. Now, depending on your neck, you can just look straight out to the horizon line, or if your neck is into it, you could also look towards your top hand. Take one more breath here. Good. And then exhale, bring your right hand to the back of your head, kind of like you're holding or cradling the hand with your head. We want to keep opening this elbow up and spinning our chest up towards the right, up towards the sky. And then exhale, unwind, move slow. Both hands come to the mat. Walk your right foot back to the middle, and we're shifting back for a moment of that half split pose. So again, just working this front leg pretty straight. Option to stay with this flexed foot, toes point to the sky, or maybe seeing how it feels to work your toes into a point. It's really pointing the toes towards the floor. So if you're tight in the shins or the tops of the feet, sometimes we can really feel a lot here. And then let's inhale, rock forward enough so you can plant your hands. Step that right knee back. Next inhale, lengthen the chest into cow pose. Exhale, curl and round into cat pose. Inhale, lengthen to cow. So if you got into your lunge last time from down dog, curl toes and lift the knees and hips again. If you stayed on your knees, you can just stay there and neutralize the spine. Let's find an inhale to float the left leg up and back. And exhale, pull the knee and rock forward, plant the foot. It's right between the hands, lower that right knee to the floor. So I'm walking my right hand off my mat to the right and floating left arm to the sky. And we just want to make sure that this left knee is not passing our toes. As we reach through the left hand, you can keep looking just towards the horizon, or you can turn your gaze to the top fingertips. You could stay here if you prefer, or see about bringing that hand to the back of the head. So I like to use this to just lean my head into my hand. I feel like this helps me open my shoulder and my chest a little more. So I'm really spinning the chest open to the left, up to the sky. One more inhale. And exhale. Let's unwind. Again, walk your left foot so it's in line with your hip. It's close to the middle of the mat. And then we're shifting hips back, breathing into the back of this left leg. So option to hold this flexion or work the toes towards a point, reaching the toes towards the earth. Finding that lengthening here, that opening into the arch. And then inhale. Let's rock forward so we can plant our palms. Step left knee back. Exhale. Inhale, rock forward, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, hug the elbows in and lower slow. Sorry, my mic fell out for just a second. Lift halfway or a little way. Inhale to your cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, lengthen the chest. Pull the navel in. Exhale to knees. Find your downward facing dog. Or again, option to stay in the knees. We're going to give it about 3 to 5 breaths here. So really think about sending your hips up and back. If your legs are tight, keep the feet, wide-ish apart. They can be wider than hips distance. If you're looking for more of a hamstring or a calf lengthener, the closer you bring the feet, the deeper that lengthening will become. So you just want to be mindful as to what's going on. Very nice. Make sure you're pressing evenly through your inner palms. So you want to press down mostly through the inside of the hand. Oftentimes we can roll on to the outer edge. Okay, last breath in here. Exhale completely. Inhale, lift right leg up and back. Exhale, pull knee to chest, rock forward, plant that foot. Lower the knee, the left knee again. Once you're feeling stable, inhale and circle the arms up to the sky. Good. Exhale, you might sink a little deeper into the hips here. Inhale, reach tall, especially through that left arm. And then exhale, pull the belly button in. I'm bringing right hand to thigh. I'm going to use my belly to twist my chest towards the right. This might be your pose right here. So you can press hand into thigh, using this for leverage to turn to the right. You could bring the left forearm to the outside of that right thigh. If twisting is easy for you, you've got some space, you can slide your elbow to the outer right knee. I like to make a fist and then just cap it. So capping my right hand over my left hand, right elbow to the sky. So I know forward twisting isn't always great in all spines, so please be sure to do what feels best. I'm just switching myself around so you can kind of see that version. So you can be here, you could be here, or you could be here. We're going to take maybe one more breath. And then inhale. Slowly unwind, hands to the earth. Shift the hips back a little bit, but this time walk your right foot over to the left. My hips are pretty much over my back knee, maybe slightly farther back. We're coming into that kind of twisted IT mat stretch. So yeah, I'm flexing through my right foot for now. I'm walking my hands over to the right as far as I can. Next step would be to try to keep reaching your right big toe towards the floor. So usually we get a little bit of feedback somewhere in this outside leg line, if not down the whole bloody thing. Take one more inhale here and exhale, unwind. Once you plant your hands, step the right knee back. Let's widen the knees here a little bit. Sit hips to heels. Just pause for a moment. Drop the forehead. Taking a breath or two. Just breathing, settling. Maybe noticing where the mind is at. Hopefully it's been able to stay with us. And eventually inhale to hands and knees. Curl toes, exhale, downward facing. Yeah, just one breath here and then we'll move on. So inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, pull the left knee in, stepping it between the hands, lower right knee. And once you're stable, begin to rise up. You can always walk up this left leg as well. A little wide there. So we want to eventually be able to reach the hands to the sky, inhaling. Exhale, you might sink a little deeper into the hips, but just feel that out. So inhale, go for length. Really reach the fingertips to the sky. Then exhale, left hand to the thigh. We're using this for a bit of leverage, but mostly our twist should be coming from our abdominals. So squeeze the belly button and begin to turn towards the left. This might be your pose. Perhaps you bring right forearm or back of forearm to that outer left thigh. We're still drawing the belly button in, doing our best to breathe. And if it works for you, perhaps you bring elbow to the outside, make a fist, and then cap it, left hand over right hand. Belly draws in, turning heart center towards your thumbs. Couple more breaths here. And yeah, just find a comfortable gaze point for the neck. So looking down is usually more helpful for balance. Or just find a spot, something to focus on at whatever gaze point, and that too can help. One more inhale. And exhale. Inhale, untwist. Hands to the earth. So we're shifting back a little bit, but now we're walking this left foot over to the right. Work your front leg towards straightish. See if you can bring both hands to this left side. Blocks come in handy for this one too. So we just want to walk towards the left, maybe towards the back of our mat if available. Got a little more space on this side. So I am trying to reach left big toe towards the earth. Working this leg towards straight. Mine isn't totally locked out. We're rarely going for a locked knee in yoga anyway, but I'm definitely getting some feedback here. Take one more inhale and exhale. Let's walk the hands back to center. Soften the knee and then step back. So knees are under hips. Walk the hands forward. One more cobra sequence here. Inhale, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, belly draws in, lower slow. So we feel the elbows graze our rib cage as we lower. Press through the tops of the feet. Inhale, lengthen chest. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull navel in. We're pressing to knees. Let's widen them a little bit. Sit the hips to heels and just rest here for a few breaths in child's pose. So you can adjust hands. Sometimes leaving the arms out in extension feels good. It's a nice good stretch for the shoulders. If you're tight like me, sometimes I like to just bring my arms a little closer in. So I've got a little more support, less weight on my head. And then I'm just stacking my hands to rest my forehead. Three more breaths here. And just tuning into that sensation of breath, just making its way through the spine, through the back of the body. Okay. So for this next pose, we are we're transitioning now into our more, the cooling down side of practice. I find that I like to get into pigeon best from downward facing dog. So I've got, really two more dogs for you. If you can stand it, you can come into this one from hands and knees as well. It's just my personal preference. So as you're ready, lift the knees and hips to dog. All right, and then inhale. Once again, we're lifting right leg up and back. Then exhale, bend the knee and start to open it out to the side like we're going for fire hydrant pose as we rock shoulders forward over wrists. So now that knee is pointing out, I'm going to keep the knee pointing out, but I'm going to swing my left foot underneath. So I've lowered my back knee and just reaching back, sliding my blanket or pillow, whatever you've got, over to the right. I've folded it now so I can just slide it under my right hip as I now just sit my right hip onto that blanket. So there's a lot of things that can be going on in this pose. Mostly you want to make sure that this right knee is feeling happy and not strained. So sliding the heel a little closer to your center is best. If you are feeling something in this knee, bend your left knee as well. So you're more in something like a 90-90 pose. So if you're looking for more hip or glute stretch and you're keeping this back knee bent, then you'll just parallel your front shin to the front of your mat. If you have props handy like a pillow or block or a bolster, you can always slide those forward to rest on. Just going to come and have a look at you guys here in a second. So yeah, if you are taking that full pigeon, I like to curl my back toes under so I can really get the center of my left kneecap in contact with the earth. You can flatten the toes or keep them curled eventually, just so that everything stays in line here in the hips. So you could stay tall. Again, you could release down onto forearms or elbows. Couple more breaths here. Again, if things are getting intense or tired, you can always slide that left knee forward just until we can meet up. Mind the neck and the jaw to release, so hips and jaw are on the same meridian pathways. letting the body and mind settle just a little deeper, quieting down. Okay, so take an inhale. Exhale, begin to press up. Again, I'm setting myself up to come back into downward facing dog. So I'm curling my back toes under, walking the knee forward a little bit until I can lift up and kind of just lift right up into a plank here, and then step right foot back. One inhale. Let's exhale out the mouth. Just letting go, releasing. Inhale and exhale again. So next inhale, we're floating left leg up and back. Last down dog. Exhale, turn your left knee out to the left like fire hydrant pose, and then swing your left foot towards the right. So I'm lowering down, I'm lowering this back knee. Just a little bit of a fumble here as I get my blanket underneath my left hip now, so you can kind of see that a little better on this side. So I'm basically using it so that my hips stay level. This could be a different story on this side depending on your left knee history. So if there's any complaints coming from that knee or hip, just slide your right knee forward. You can even walk your left foot a little farther forward. You'll still get a nice hip stretch. That might even buy you more space to lean forward. Otherwise, we extend that right leg back, slide left heel close to center or closer to center. Curling those back toes under, I find that just lines everything up a little nicer. Also takes pressure off the knee. So yeah, your call if you want to just keep those toes curled the whole time. And hold here, heart center lifted, shoulder blades down the back. Draw the elbows in if you are staying tall. So as we hug everything towards the midline, our own body weight just becomes a little bit easier to support. If there's space to walk the hands a little forward or lower onto elbows or even onto a prop, experiment with that. I'm going to be here for a few more breaths. I'm really hoping to elicit the relaxation response here, getting into the parasympathetic nervous system. Start to just down regulate the systems of the body. Again, reminding the neck and the jaw to soften. Last couple breaths here. And then let's find an inhale to press up. Now this time we're actually going to lean or shift all the way over onto this left hip to just swing the right leg forward. And actually, if you do have a blanket or a pillow near you or that you've been using, you might just slide it right here underneath the bum, under the sit bones. So, sorry, let's see, what do we have time for? Yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to take Janu Shirshasana. We do this one a lot, and also it's kind of one that's pretty familiar to us. We've probably been doing it since, grade 1 phys ed class or something like that, otherwise known as a runner stretch pose. So my left knee is bent, right leg is straight. Sometimes if this hip could use support, we can always add a prop underneath that knee. First, really find center. So I am starting to activate the core so I can support my back in sitting nice and tall. Do bring some action into this right leg. So I have a tendency to externally rotate and that leg wants to flop open. So we're doing something a little more yang today. We're going to keep those toes pointing to the sky. So we've got that flexion in the ankle, just an easy effort flexion. Inhale, float the arms to the sky while we draw the belly button up and in. Exhale, pull the navel in. Use this to lengthen the spine. Go as far down as you might normally like to go at your 100% range, and then back off a couple of inches. Just pause here in this 60% version of the pose. Take an inhale for length, so reach your heart center forward. Use an exhale to pull the belly button in. You might sink a little deeper. Next, inhale, lengthen the chest. Exhale, activate the abdominals. Really squeeze the belly button up and in. Keep that, hold that. Reach your arms forward alongside the ears. And then inhale, rise up, using core, supporting the back. Exhale, we're just heading straight back down, keeping everything long. Fold all the way over and down, and then back off about an inch, finding that 75 to 80% range. Inhale, go for a little more length. Exhale, feel the belly draw in. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, pull the navel in. Feel super supported by the abdominals. Float the arms forward. And inhale all the way up. Exhale, keep this length. Think heart center towards toes. You want to go for that 100% range, go for it. You want to back off to any percentage. Feel free to just find what's feeling best in this moment. So maybe you can relax your hands, your forearms onto the floor. If you can comfortably grab your foot, that can be nice too. You can interlace fingers around the sole of the foot. If you've got space, you could interlace fingers, flip your palms outward, and then slide them at the back of the foot. So that can just give us a little bit more of a sort of binding sensation. Deeper folding. And let's release the hands. Walk the hands towards the torso. So now we're using the support of the arms to slowly roll up. Still pulling the navel in to support the spine, but it's just less of an active strengthening, more of just a supporting as we rise. Let's lean back into the hands. Send that left leg forward. Maybe just rock out the legs a little bit. And then second side. So bending right knee, turn it out to the right. Sitting tall again, maybe a prop under that knee or hip if it needs it. Be sure that we've got some light action through the ankles. So our left toes point straight to the sky. Now I have a bit of a bendy back, right? So I just caught myself. I have a tendency to kind of overarch. So do notice if that's you too. Kind of shift the weight back slightly as we draw in the belly. Inhale, arms to sky. Exhale, belly hugs to the spine, assisting us in this fold. Go as far down as you normally like to go, and then back off 2 inches. Breathe here, find your 60%. Maybe your exhale melts you a little more. Inhale, just go for length, chest towards toes. Exhale, begin to really draw the belly button up and in. Activate the abdominals, keep them strong. Inhale, arms forward, belly drawing in. And then next, inhale, let's rise up. Exhale, once again, going for that fold, heart center to toes. Release all the way down, back off an inch. Find 75, 80% of your breathing into the leg, into the postural muscles along the spine. Definitely a good one to do. Whether we've been sitting or standing for most of the day. Inhale, go for length. Exhale, pull the belly button in. Feel very active in the abdominals. Reach the arms forward, inhaling as we rise up. And then exhale, this is our last one. So we're folding all the way, trying to keep things long. Curling the chin just a little, dropping the gaze towards the shin. And finding your 100% or any percentage of this pose. Maybe you hold on to the foot. Maybe you interlace fingers, flip the palms outward, and slide the interlaced fingers to the sole of the foot. Breathing. And release the hands. Use them to support you. So we still draw the belly in, but we're walking the hands up as we roll up. Finding a tall spine. Lean back into the hands. Shake up the legs a little. And I'm just scooting forward here a little bit so I can move my blanket to the back of the mat. So we are coming into a reclining position here next. You can have something for the head. Hold on to the backs of the thighs as you just mindfully sort of protecting the back and lowering slow. Then we'll hug the knees in once we get here. Maybe take that little sway in our rocking side to side. And place the feet on the floor, but walk them about mat's width apart. Taking a few windshield wipers here, my fave. So knees sway side to side. Just make sure you're keeping your feet glued to the floor. And eventually, let's pause with both knees over to the left. So taking this as sort of a mild twist. Nice little opening into this right side and into the thigh. If there's room for more, you could cross right ankle on top of left knee or thigh. If your back agrees. If you're somewhere in between, I like to use a prop under my left knee. So that I feel just keeps my leg from kind of pulling the back into too much of a twist. So arms and shoulders should be comfortable. That might be out to the sides or down alongside you. Sometimes, especially at this point of the practice, when our arms and shoulders are a little more warmed up, it can feel nice to take something like this. It's sort of a soft cactus pose and just continue to really send breath into the chest and the shoulders. Soaking in the benefits of our practice today. Be catching the mind before it wanders over to just whatever the theme of your thoughts have been. Maybe even noticing if you got to enjoy a little bit of a window of not sort of going through your typical list. Acknowledging the importance of this, the importance of just landing, finding the present moment as much as possible. So it's totally your call. You can stay here if you kind of like this as a relaxing variation of a twist. If you'd like to come into a deeper twist, I'm uncrossing my ankle and I'm just sliding my right knee all the way over now. So both knees are sliding a little higher up. I'm stacking them. Left hand on this top knee just adds a little more weight and compression to assist in some relaxation into holding or binding this pose. You can take any variation of this one as well. You can wrap that right leg around, coming into twisted root pose. For me, same thing. I just like to have a block or something if I take that back. And again, just check in with the neck, making sure your neck and your jaw are relaxed. Give me a nice little neck opener to look to the left. Just watching, feeling your breath. And when this side feels ready, you did go for that extra wrap. Just move slow as you unravel the legs. Inhale, exhale, pull the navel in mindfully. And twist. And just bring the feet to the floor. So I'm lifting my hips a little bit, kind of sliding my hips closer to the midline of my mat again. Walk your feet wide to either edge of the mat again, and then let's take our wipers, knees swaying side to side. Eventually, we're pausing here with both knees to the right this time. However, if you feel like you already did this side, then just be sure to switch it. So keep everything towards even as best as possible. So you could stay right here. If you like, you could also cross right ankle over left knee. That deepens the sensation through the left side of the body. I'm sliding a prop under my right knee so it doesn't feel like I'm pulling on my back too much. Again, you can always just uncross that ankle if this is no bueno for the spine. Breathing easy. An option to stay right here if you would like to change up this twist, any part of it. Please feel free. You just uncross that right ankle and slide both knees all the way over to the right. Stacking the knees. Maybe your right hand comes to left thigh. Or you could find your twisted root pose, wrapping left leg around the right one. Prop or not. This is basically always setting ourselves up for success, right? Success in relaxation. So we never want to feel like we're trying to hold or push through a pose without support or without breathing. It's finding ways to bring the floor closer to those body parts that are feeling like they're being pulled by gravity. So especially in these reclining, cool down postures. Last couple of breaths here. Make sure the neck is relaxed. Maybe look to the right. And nice and easy. Bring the face to center. Unwind the legs. So take a breath in. Exhale, belly draws in. So with active core, refloat the knees to center. Maybe give yourself one last hug. You can interlace around the shins. Rock a little. Eventually releasing out into our Shavasana, our final relaxation posture. So if you do have props, a pillow or bolster, it might feel nice to slide that under your knees. Very important to make sure that our back is relaxed here. Certainly don't want any distractions from any part of the body in this final pose. This is the one we've been waiting for, the one we've been preparing for all along. So if the back is just not loving legs straight, whether or not you have a prop under the knees, you might need to just keep the knees bent. Same thing, feet can be wide, kind of like our setup for wipers, and then just lean the knees against one another so that nothing is working. Find your 0% effort. Let the eyes close. And just follow the flow of breath in and out the nose. Letting the eyes sink deep into their sockets. The brain shifts to the back of the skull. The neck releases, the shoulders melt down, the arms and hands are letting go. Feeling the upper, the mid, and the lower back melting into the earth, the chest, the belly expanding with breath. Backs of the hips and thighs melting, backs of the knees and calves dripping down. Soles of the feet letting go. Tops of the hips and thighs. Kneecaps and shins releasing. Tops of the feet and tips of the toes letting go completely. No gripping. Just following rhythm and flow of breath. Gently begin to deepen the breath, waking the body. Wiggle fingers, toes. Maybe taking a stretch. Eventually roll to one side, press to a seated position. And we'll just pause here for a moment. Again, just soaking up the feels of this practice. And place one hand on the heart center, the other hand on top of that. Bow the head a little. Tune out and seal our practice together with one Om, the universal sound of creation. Inhaling. And bring palms together at the heart, dropping the head a little more. Just thanking your body for all the hard work it does for you every day. Thanking your breath for this life, for this anchor to the present moment. And thank you for sharing your practice today. May we live like the lotus flower at home above the muddy water. Namaste.